It's good to see you. Let me get my hat. I gotta get my swag proper on social media, man. This doesn't go away. Listen, good to see everybody. Good to have everybody back. Shiloh, I know I took a little time on spring break and things like that to take some time for myself. Because sometimes you gotta fight the power, baby. But I'm here, back. I want to have a conversation because we see some things that are happening now that we've never seen before, and we have seen before. We've never seen a presidential candidate who has been washed out of his return term, who has also been impeached, now win the Republican nomination in a landslide. In a landslide. I'm going to take this doggone head off. In a landslide, right? And what's also going on? What's going on with Puffy? Come on. Listen, this is what I think. And this is how I put it out here. It makes sense. I think Donald Trump and Puffy should be on that Republican ticket. That's what I think. Both of them require to have some type of amnesty because of their criminal activities. So I think that's a perfect matchup. I think Donald should get to that right now. Put Puffy on that ticket. Donald and Puffy for 2024. Makes total sense to me. Appeals to the black vote, appeals to the pedophiles, appeals to the racists. I mean, you get everything in there. You got everything. You got the human traffickers in there. You got everybody. Everybody is wrapped up in that. But seriously, what the heck is going on? So many of you haven't or have not heard that P. Diddy Combs, Sean Combs, Puffy, Puff Daddy, all of the acronyms and abbreviations and AKAs he's been called. His homes, his properties, various, not just one, have been raided by the FBI. Accusations of human trafficking. They're saying two things that have not been confirmed by this reporter or anyone else. They're saying that, number one, they do not know whether or not Puffy is even the object of any of these allegations. I've heard that. I've also heard that Puffy was on a private plane on his way to Cape Verde, or Verde, or however they pronounce it, and that there's no extradition. They said also that Puffy's not running away, he's not fleeing. Probably his lawyers are in place. What I do know is that Puffy left his children holding the bag because they were standing there in handcuffs. Hundreds of agents raided his properties. So really they have enough evidence to that level of a warrant for his invasion of his property. And really, we got to figure out what's going on. I've heard things like Cuba Gooding Jr. is also being implicated in Puffy's nefarious activities. People are alleging that this is going to come some way towards Jay-Z. It seems like it's just a good idea not to go to a Hollywood party. It seems like it's not a good idea to go to a Puffy party. J-Lo is probably, saying the sign of the cross, saying I got out of there just in time. But clearly, he had some kind of Epstein Island, R. Kelly 2.0 scenario going on. And of course, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. But where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good for Puffy P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs. Doesn't really look good for him and what this is going to come off. And I said the other day, did Cassie start all this? P. Diddy is being targeted like everyone else. The powers that be is in control, offing people and their career. Well, I don't know. There is a lot of targeting going on. I can't say that I have not been the target of that. Absolutely. But since Cassie, official girl, put her name on some of these things, it hasn't been going good for Puffy. Absolutely not. And a lot of people are coming out. I see so many things that I don't know if it's real or not. I heard Meek Mill's released a video with him and Puffy. I don't know. These are things that, the internet does a lot. You don't know what to believe, what not to believe. It's very clear that something is happening, something is going on, and it's not just Puffy; it's other people too. People are showing up missing and dead. You have famous basketball players. We have one in Canada. His brother was just killed in a very serious car accident. Lots of things are going on. Lots of strange things are happening. But I'm not in a position to declare it to be a conspiracy yet, because I don't really know all of the events. I just know what's happening. But one of the biggest things, though, is just watching Donald's ascent to this Republican nomination. That's why I say, he might as well just put Puffy on the ticket. Donald is, first and foremost, he needed to post his $440 million bond before he was able to appeal to the appellant's court. They reduced that to $175 million. People are acting like, oh my goodness, how are they giving Donald all these breaks? $440 million to $175 million bond. That's not a break for most of us, okay? I think a few things, though, need to be considered, though. Donald is making deals all the time. He has a production company that just actually went public. It's supposed to be worth $3 billion. It's not worth anything, but it's because of Donald's name attached to it. So it's gone public. He has too many things going on to actually be tied up with any kind of money. I think people, and especially the Democratic media, the liberal media, are trying to make this a little bigger than it really is. Donald Trump, I don't believe is in money problems. I don't believe he can't post a $440 million bond. And secondly, I don't believe that the state of New York is interested in owning any of his properties. It's not easy just to grab somebody's stuff and start selling it. Also, Donald Trump probably holds nothing in his actual name. If he's being sued as an individual, all of his corporations, and especially if he's running for president again, have been put in arm's length positions. So getting actual money out of Donald or going after one of Donald's corporations, whether it's a golf course or a hotel or something else, it's probably not going to be easy. Okay, it's not going to be easy whatsoever. He's getting handled definitely different than any of us. I'm talking about Donald, I'm sure. He did the same thing from the dude from the Elon show. Okay. Yeah, man. Yeah, hey, what's going on, Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights? Yeah, listen. What's going on with Trump right now is, I think, just a lot of media hype. First of all, and I'm sorry, and I know a lot of people don't agree with me, Trump's not going to win the election. Like, Trump's not going to win. He is not going to win the election. I know the Republicans were running a bunch of lame duck candidates next to him. Like, think about the people that they're running next to this guy. I mean, the most credible person that they were running next to Trump was DeSantis. That guy didn't even get 1%. Like, nobody wanted that maniac anywhere near the White House because he's a maniac. And everybody else was a dead duck candidate. And so, I mean, it wasn't hard. But as far as Trump actually winning an actual election, again, look at the statistics. I already posted a video about this. I don't think anybody wants to go back to a Trump America. Economically, ang-wise, crime-wise, stock market-wise, nobody wants to go back to the type of America. They just don't. I think it's a time that we have in the annals of history, no pun intended, of American history. But I don't think anybody wants to go back to that type of America. I think America requires new things. And again, I am not an American. I don't have a dog in the fight, right? I know a lot of people do. Let me explain what people do. Lately, there's been this crazy phenomenon of Michael Jordan. I'll make it comparable in a second. Michael Jordan has no left hand. If you go on the internet right now and you Google, Michael Jordan has no left hand, that is the current catchphrase of people who are criticizing Michael Jordan's GOATness compared to LeBron James, because they're saying, oh yeah, Michael didn't have a left hand, Michael didn't have a left hand. People have never seen him play, people that weren't even alive when Michael played, they're saying, yeah, Michael had no left hand. What they're doing now is they're claiming, yeah, you know, Joe's too old, he's an old man, he's senile, he's half asleep at the wheel, all these kind of things that they're claiming about Biden, right? Listen, both of these guys are old. Both of these guys are old. Both of these guys are old men who are closer to a grave than they are to climbing an apple tree. They are old men. And so using these kind of rhetorics to disenfranchise us from the actual issues of can these people govern, it's smoke screens. I think a lot of times it's smoke screens. My question, and when I listen to Trump, I listen to how would this man govern? What is his concept of governance? And the truth of the matter is Donald Trump doesn't run anything from any company he has. He doesn't run anything. He didn't govern when he was a president. Executive orders are not governance. So he is a character in a show called American Politics. And it seems to me that's what Donald Trump is good for. He's good for ratings. He's absolutely fantastic for ratings. And I do believe that they are coming hard for him politically. I do believe he's going to have to do his day in court. But I also believe that he's got enough money to pay for all of the things that they're going to hold him accountable for. I don't think he'll ever serve any time. I don't think he'll ever be really convicted of anything that will put him in jeopardy of losing his privacy or losing his ability to be free. But it's probably going to cost him a little bit of money for all of the things that he has done. And hey, most of the money that Donald is getting is other people's money anyway. He's used to that. But most of this is hype. And as some of you are alluding to, maybe the Puffy things are hype too. We don't know. I know Puffy's situation has been quite inflammatory. Dragging the bishop, T.D. Jakes into this thing, Cassie into this thing. Everybody's getting dragged into this. Anybody who's ever visited Puffy's house, you in trouble. You better have a place to stay in Cape Verde, because if you've ever been to Puffy's house, baby, they gonna be knocking on your door. If a little 14-year-old boy or girl was sitting on your lap in a picture somewhere in Puffy's house, you in trouble. Let me see. He only runs his mouth. I rather want an old man that eats ice cream than a fascist. I agree. Diddy is crazy. Diddy's a wild dude, man. They need to face the fact America wants diversity. It's true. I think the difference between Trump and Biden's age is that while Trump is old, Biden is senile. And I think that's what people are trying to make it seem like. But I've listened to Biden talk. He is not senile. He is not. He has clearly articulated that he doesn't agree with Netanyahu. I mean, geez, Netanyahu is crazy. That's a crazy guy. That guy's out of his doggone mind. If you really want to listen to a guy that really says crazy stuff, he's absolutely out of his mind. I believe Putin is as old as all of these guys, and Putin sounds like the sanest man in the world right now, who is a world leader. And yeah, I've been telling black people for the longest time, stop relying on old white men to govern you. Start your own national party. Put your foot forward. I mean, how do black people go from Shirley Chisholm to nothing? How do you do that? How do you go from Shirley Chisholm in 1972, right? How do you go from that to nothing? It doesn't make any sense. And think about it. Shirley Chisholm in 1972, she's supposed to lose in 1972. She's supposed to not have a leg to stand on in 1972. In 1972. But you can't tell me that you don't have a black woman or a black man credible enough to be a positive voice in America. I mean, not just one. You should have hundreds. If you can go from Shirley Chisholm, you can go from Barack Obama. Like I love Dr. West. Cornel West he's like Uncle Cornel. You know, you want him to tell you stories and tuck you in a bed and bring you sugar tea and biscuits. You know what I'm saying? Tell me some good old stories from the civil rights movement, Dr. Cornell. But please, in heaven's sake, I don't want Cornel West being a president, because at the end of the day, this is the problem. A commander-in-chief has to say, you got to go kill that guy. Cornell is never going to say that. Cornell's going to say, listen, let's get all these guys together, sit down, let's make some chicken, and if we can figure this out. Cornell is a pacifist of pacifists, and that's fantastic. I'm not taking anything away from him as a person. I love Uncle Dr. Cornel West, but as a president, he needs a little more gumption, and he has, I believe, the knowledge base to advise a president, but I don't think he'd be a very good president, and therefore there should be more viable candidates that are African American in America today, both male and female, and you're going to tell me, well, there are, but where are they? I mean, the fact that nobody even gave Donald Trump a run for his money when this dude is being charged and doing all kind, it's telling. It's telling. Not a soul in America on the Republican side of the coin could give Donald a run. A lot. We have competent black folks. There's a reason they don't get attention proportionate to their capabilities. And I agree with that. But I agree with that in 1972. There's no way that you can have, again, and listen, this has been proven already. Like, you've already had a black president, or a half-black president, if you want to call it that. But you've already had, we have the Oprahs and the Tyler Perrys, and we have the Chappelles. We have platforms. We have enough platforms that obscurity cannot exist for excellence. I'll say it again. You can't hide black excellence in America anymore. It's not a thing. You can't hide it. You couldn't hide it in the 70s. You couldn't hide it in the 60s. So how all of a sudden, no disrespect to your statement, how all of a sudden are all these viable black candidates, we don't know where they are? No, there's something to be said about the development of the black political infrastructure that does not exist to the level it should exist in America right now. And I blame all of these strong black institutions that have pandered and have brought water to the Republican and the Democratic Party, trying to get a voice at the big white boys table, at the big white people's table, but you haven't tried to build your own table. Look, like, you've been infiltrated. All of your major organizations, the NAACP, the Black Caucus, all these things have been infiltrated, and now there's no black voices in a country that black excellence is the place that we look to. The world looks for black excellence in America. Is that a lie? The world doesn't look to Africa for black excellence, although it is there. It doesn't look to Canada for black excellence, although it is there. It doesn't look for Europe for black excellence, although it is there. It looks to America. And so we have to figure out, why is it that there is no major black party in America since the Black Panther Party? Come on, think about this. Since Huey Newton, what radical black voice has organized on behest of black people in America? Tell me, educate me, let me know. Since Huey Newton, who has done it? And so we, unfortunately, have fallen asleep at the wheel for 50 years, to the point where there is no credible black national party. America should have a black national party. Absolutely. There should be 3 choices for a black man or woman to run for the presidential candidacy of the United States. It should be a black party, the Republican Party, and the Democratic Party every year. And watch what I'm saying. In our lifetime, in your lifetime, and in my lifetime, there's going to be a credible Latin American, Latino party that lifts itself up and runs a Latin. It's going to happen in your lifetime. It's going to happen in your lifetime. The Latinos are going to say, hey, We have a voice. We should speak our voice. It's going to be supported by the Mexican cartel. It's going to be supported by all kind of other folks, and your mind's going to be blown. Absolutely. You see the problem. This is why these things are not happening, and this is a lesson to Black America. You've got to look outside of the demographic of your country. Donald Trump is going to get all of his bills paid by the Saudis. He's going to get all of his bills paid by a foreign government. They're going to lend him money and pay off all of his stuff. And then when they get, and in the hope that he gets into that office, right? But the Black community has to look outside of North America and make allegiances that stretch across international borders, so that your actual upliftment can be funded by those abroad. How can I say that? You don't have to look far. All you have to do is look to Africa. All you have to look to is Kwame Nkrumah. You have to look to Mobutu, and you have to look to Ghana and all these African countries who have made allegiances with European nations, Asian nations, for the resources that they have. The problem maybe is Black America has nothing to offer, and therefore there's no catch, there's no buy-in by foreign powers to say, let's put Black people in charge. But I don't agree 100%, because look what Russia has did with South Africa. Russia supported South Africa, and again, so South Africa has minerals and whatnot. They put Black people in charge, and so I think that the Black American needs to look beyond their own borders and needs to realize that they have the capacity to be funded, to be taken care of by foreign powers, by foreign nations, to build their own party with a promise, with a promissory note to say, if you put us in power, we will work with you. And that's it. That's how every deal is made. Let me see what you guys have to say. The questions you are asking are valid. These are answers to all these questions. I promise there are answers. Very specific things that happened to the Black community in the late 1960s. Went to the same high school as Fred Hampton. Yeah, I agree with you. We need to be international, especially in conjunction with Africa. Blame the liquor store in every corner of the Black hoods for the last 40 years. And you know what? What they're doing right now in Canada, to that last point, they're saying, well, we've legalized everything. The government now controls the liquor in Canada, the gambling, and now the drugs, because marijuana is legal. If the liquor store is the problem, then guess what? Every Black person in America should have shares in the liquor store. Should say, you know what? Let's just open a liquor store. If our fall off point has been the lower virtues of our behavior in the past, what is taking place? What is taking place is that we have decided to own those things. We've been, if they said, well, you used to be a drug dealer, right? Now you're a drug lord. If they said you used to be a singer, well, now you're Puffy, right? Now I'm a mogul, right? Used to be just a basketball player. Well, now I want to own the team. I'm Michael Jordan. And so everything about the Black community should be the upward mobility of taking over the things that have confiscated us, that have taken us by hostage. Every single, and I say this all the time for those who haven't heard me say this before, every single Caribbean nation, every single nation that was taken via colonization has decided that we are going to take over the country and run our own country, good or bad. Whether that dollar is worth 20 cents or whether that dollar is worth the full American dollar, those people have said to themselves that I am coming here and we're going to take over the same place that you dragged us here, and we're going to run the place. Americans have yet to do that because, and this is the because, you have been made comfortable in your captivity. Too comfortable. Because they've said, we'll give them everything but governance. Look at it. We'll give you everything but governance. We'll make you Oprah. We'll make you LeBron. We'll make you MJ. We'll make you Chappelle. We'll make you Kevin Hart. We'll do everything for you, but we won't give you governance until the conversation with Barack Obama. And Barack Obama, like, this should not be a scenario where you have to wait another 1,600 years to see another Barack Obama. So, don't read my comment. Who said that? Anyway. I'm going to close it right there. I'm going to leave it right there. 24 minutes of just talking about it. But I don't know. Maybe Puffy should run on that ticket. Donald and Puffy for 2024. I might change my mind. I might change my mind because who's Donald going to run with? All right. Anyways, God bless you guys. Let's talk about these things some more, and let's figure out really what's going to happen and what's going to happen with this American election, 2024 election. Nobody should be satisfied that the only two people that you have to vote for are Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Nobody should be satisfied that you have to do that all over again. That means there really needs to be a change in America, and you are the change. God bless you. This is Del K. Brereton. This is The Real Skill. I want to read this last one. The drugs are the scapegoat. All these other communities do hella drugs. Exactly. The problem is our trauma, which leads to dependencies. Listen, the Mexican cartel controls drugs now. Is there a black cartel? I don't know. You gotta tell me. Is there a black cartel? Okay. So I don't know. Y'all gotta figure it out. We're waiting, we're watching, and we're praying. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon.